Hello and welcome back to It's Giving Realty podcast, the podcast that gives you the realty in real estate. Every time you tune in, we're trying to give you more testimonies, education, entertaining, laughter, whatever, all things, but still related to real estate. So every chance that I get, I'm going to bring on a guest that's either an expert in their field or a client of mine, which by the way, my clients are near and dear to me. I spoil them. They love me. Then they spoil me because they love me. Okay, and I do things that they thought could not be done. And so today I do have one of my near and dear clients with me to talk about her real estate journey and what it was like to become a landlord. And so I have with me Miss Makala. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having
you're,
me.
you're so thank you for having you so cute. I'm like pew 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 pew. No, okay. No, but no, thank you for joining me. First of all, this woman is very busy and she is I think you're winning in your field. You're doing amazing things at work. You also have projects that you're getting started on.
Yes,
So to come and sit down with me, I'm very, very honored.
of course. I had to. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you.
Oh. So, because you said that we're going to get into it, so I really want to be able to provide stories and testimonies and just like let people know what other individuals have gone through that are successful, that are, in their field, that have whatever the things that they assume are needed and still may have thought that they couldn't do it, right? And so you were one of those people when I met you, you were like, I've been told no. And I asked all the questions and I'm like, well, no, who told you no, right? And so we got you with the lender, talk things out, and of course, it was not a no, it was a yes. So, can you kind of tell people about the journey before me? We're gonna start pre-stylist. Okay.
Pre-stylist.
Okay.
Okay, so I was fresh out of law school, like very, very months out of law school.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I got a job, and I had always wanted to be a homeowner, but really didn't know what that process looked like. And so, like most people, I had Zillow on my
Mm-hmm.
phone, just
Mm-hmm.
looking at houses, thinking like, yeah, this is the type of house that I would want. So I think this started maybe like November of 2023, maybe.
Okay.
I come across this house, and um, I knew I wanted a double, but I'm like, there's no way that this house will be available when it's time for me to buy a
Mm-hmm.
house, because at that point, I
Things
mean,
were
I had,
getting snatched up. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, things were getting snatched up. I didn't have a significant amount of money saved. I was
Mm-hmm.
really focused on kind of paying off debts because I was living off of like credit cards in law
Mm-hmm.
school. I have a lot of student loan debt. I'm just kind of in the first several months of having a job for the most part. And so I was like, when it comes time for me to buy a house, this is what I would want the house to look like. Like,
Okay.
this is kind of the goal.
Okay.
And so at that time, one of my good friends, another one of your clients, had just bought her house not too far behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, you should just figure out the process. So I reached out to a lender, and she was like, yeah, just send me your information. We can figure out where you're at. And she was pretty much like, it's a hard no. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
2 years. She's like, it'll be at
Two
least
years
two
is
years
crazy.
before you can even think about buying a house. Like, she gave me a list of things that I needed to do. And I kind of just let it go at that point,
Yeah. I mean,
honestly.
because who wouldn't? And when you hear 2 years, even
Yeah.
though 2 years can come and go like that, but in the moment when you want something, 2 years feels like 10 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, why even try?
Yeah. And so that was pre stylist. And so, of course, Christmas comes around, and I'm like showing my family, like, I really love this
Mm-hmm.
house.
It's
And
still on you.
it's like, I want this house so bad. I know this won't be the house, but, this is the house that
Mm-hmm.
the type of house that I would want if it comes around. It's December. Um, at that point, my good friend is like, I have this realtor. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna send her your
Yeah.
contact information.
Since
So
you
she
didn't
knew.
call, right,
So I
right.
couldn't back out of it. And she was like, just go look at it, and you won't have to commit to anything. It won't be any pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I think it was maybe January when
Mm-hmm.
we connected, and um, we went to look at the house and it was like still available. I was very hesitant because I knew at that moment like I was
You
not
hadn't been
in.
pre-approved, right?
I
Right.
hadn't been pre-approved. I had just kind of paid off pretty much all of my debt except for like student loans and a car note. And so I was like, my credit will be good at some point, but
Right, but you
that
don't
can
know if
kind
this
of,
the point.
I didn't know if that was gonna take 2 months, 3 months
Mhm.
for everything to kind of like show up on my credit report. And I'm like, okay, now I'm at the point where I can save money, but like, when people talk about buying a house, you need thousands
Mhm.
and thousands of dollars saved, and I didn't have that. And so we went and we looked at that house, and I remember we were talking in the bathroom, and I'm like, I want
In the
it.
bathroom, because we'll stop anywhere in the house and start
Yeah, it was like
talking.
I want this house. And so the realtor on the other side was pretty much like, yeah, this is my husband's house, and
Mhm.
so if you want it, like we will pull it off the market, and
Mhm.
we will figure
Figure
it
it
out,
out, yeah.
and
Because and I mean, so you know this, but for them to understand, what happened was when you said you liked it, I reached out because I knew the realtor, so I reached out to her and said, "Hey, I'm gonna put you with my lender, right? And we're trying to figure a few things out. But in the meantime, like, do you mind pausing?" Which is not very common. So we did technically we put it under contract because we got a pre-qual. So for clarity, I put you with a lender and we got a pre-qual, which is the things that you've shared feels like we could get you qualified, right? It's not a pre-approval, but that's enough to put a house under contract. And then when we talked to Kalina, that was who your lender was, we found out what things needed to be addressed, but it was quick fixes. And so that's when I called the listing agent and was like, listen, we need to do some real quick work, but this is her house. And so yeah, she was good about that.
yeah,
And that's important to have good relationships because that's why she know if I'm calling her and it's cleaner, it's gonna get to the closing table. So
yeah, they were very good on that other side. I feel like I had that ideal situation
mhm.
because, again, at that point, I was making money. Like, I was fresh out
Mhm.
of law school. I think my starting salary was like 110, so
Mhm.
more money than I had ever seen.
Right.
I had just paid off my debt, and so at that point, I had the ability to save very quickly.
Mhm.
Um, and then they were also willing to fix anything that needed to
Yes.
be fixed,
Yes.
which was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so I think that they might have been like doing some Airbnb at the time, and they're
Because I was
willing
gonna say,
to.
yeah, they Airbnb did, and that was another reason they were with. So every situation is different. Obviously, I can't guarantee that someone else would be willing to pause, but they were actually making money, and
Yeah,
they were gonna have to turn down a stay if we would have closed when we were supposed to. So it was like, oh, I get this Airbnb money, and I sell the house, so it worked out for everyone.
yeah, and so I was able to use that like extra window of time
Mhm.
that they needed to like clear this Airbnb listing to push the
Mhm.
closing date, which actually helped me
Yeah.
because I was able to get my little funds together.
Not little. You you
I
you
got
were
some big
stacking
funds
quickly.
together.
And this is the
Yeah.
thing that threw me off about when I met you and you said, well, the lender already said no. And I'm like, what lender? I don't even remember who you said. But I'm like, no, get with my lender. Let's talk.
Yeah,
So remember I don't know, do you remember what your initial score was when you started with us?
it wasn't even a 600.
Yeah.
It
But
wasn't
wait,
even a
but do you
600.
remember how quick it shot up?
So yeah, and this was all such divine timing because um from the time we looked at the house, which was January, to when
Mm-hmm.
I closed, I don't even think my credit score was a 600.
Mm-hmm.
I was above a 700 when I closed on the
Yes.
house.
Yes.
And everything just kind of hit when it was supposed
When
to.
it was
There was
supposed to.
the house that I was looking at in November still being available in
In
January
January.
was like a blessing. The house that I wanted something like, I got that exact
Mm-hmm.
house. Um, I inherited the
A
most
tenant.
perfect
Yes. I
tenants,
loved your
like
tenant.
don't have any issues whatsoever. The rent comes early. They always, the most I hear from them is like, "Can I borrow your ladder to make sure I change these air filters?" Like we have zero
Yeah.
zero issues, and I've made a promise like as long as I want to stay here, I would never raise your
Yes,
rent. Like
exactly.
live
Because
here.
a good tenant is way
Yeah.
more important than like a quick increase, and then you're turning around tenants, and it may not be taking care of your place the way a good tenant
Yeah,
is.
they treat it like their home. They take care of things. They're quick to let me know if something's going wrong, so I can take care of it if
Mhm.
necessary. and they have a lot of pride in where they live. So it's like the most ideal situation. And so now I'm paying less of my mortgage than I was paying for my last apartment.
Yes.
And so it ultimately has ended up saving me a lot of money in the long
Mm-hmm.
run. And I have the space, and I'm somewhere I love to live, and I
Yeah.
love the neighborhood. And so it was literally just like the most perfect scenario at
Yeah.
the perfect time. And so I think I even got money back at
You did. I
at
I need y'all to
closing.
stop telling people this because when they call me, I don't want them to assume that is
Yeah,
something I'm able to do every time.
but it was all very planned on my end because I
Yeah.
was still in an apartment lease, and
Mhm.
I think I had 2 months left on my lease, and I'm like, I really can't afford to like be responsible for this mortgage,
Yeah.
and then also still have to pay this rent.
Mhm.
And so the day that we closed, I think we closed on like the first or the second, or at least the first week in March,
Mhm.
to where the money I got back was able to, I had that month of time to where I
Yeah.
didn't have to pay the mortgage, and then the tenants still paid rent that then came to
Yep.
me, and then I was able to pay like the rest of my lease off at my apartment at that and kind of close that chapter. And so there were so many things that could have went wrong that
Mhm.
did not go wrong, and everything like perfectly aligned. um I was able to move in. I was able to get money back at closing. I was able to get the house that I had been kind of admiring for months at that
Mhm.
time. I was able to get the perfect tenants. And just a couple months before, I was told that home ownership was
Was not even.
impossible for several years down the line. Like my credit score shot up 140 points. Like it was all insane.
Mhm.
How it kind of all happened the way that it did.
But this is the thing for me, and when you met me, I can I can be a little passionate about. I don't like when people are told no when I know it's not a no. I don't even have to know your situation to know it's not a no, because really with real estate, as long as you're able to work and do whatever it is that you need to do, it's either right now or later. It's never a no. So first, I'm already like, why did they tell you no, right? But secondly, I knew you were working. So even if it was credit card debt, I knew that that could be taken care of quickly. So I could not understand why they had said 2 years to you, right?
Yeah.
And when I talk to you, it kind of like I don't like when I see people's light has been dimmed by like wrong, incorrect information. So I don't, I mean, I'm very protective.
And even I had a lot of debt at the time. Um, I wasn't somebody who had, I guess, was like financially literate before I
Mhm.
had to be. Prior to thinking
Yeah.
about like I want to buy this house and like
Mhm.
what my future looks like beyond this. Um, but there are ways to improve your credit quickly
Mhm.
and responsibly. Like I said, I was living off of credit cards in law school,
Which
and
is not
it's
uncommon.
not uncommon. I had a lot of credit card debt. I had missed payments, refund
Mhm.
checks not coming when they're supposed to.
Mhm.
Like I was definitely robbing Peter to pay Paul for a
Mhm.
couple of years as I was trying to make it through school, and I was so determined to be able to get this house. I was literally calling, credit card companies and being
Mhm.
like, "This is my situation. I'm just trying to get ahead. Can you remove this off of my credit score?"
Right.
And I got a lot of yeses
Yeah.
of people just empathetic to what I had going on. And so, um, just the way that it worked out, I knew that it was meant for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, and I really want to thank you because I think when we first met, and you were like, "Well, they said no," and I'm like, "I promise you, we can get in the house." And you were like, "I mean, okay, like, tell me what to do." I'm like, "Call this number, do the." So you did do the work. Like it's not, it wasn't magic, right? But it's just a matter of I think finding people who are willing to fight for you, are knowledgeable enough to kind of guide you through it. And for me, that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast because in my mind, you were an easy file, in my opinion. So the idea that you were thinking you couldn't even do it was crazy. You had a job, right? Yes, we had to work on the credit, but it wasn't bad credit. So bad credit is harder to fix. At that time you were maxed out on credit cards, but you had already kind of handled like the negative things that had been showing
Hmm.
up. So right, we just need to kind of get stuff paid down, and we have money coming in that wasn't there before. So
Yeah.
we could do it. And then ultimately getting into the house was actually decreasing your expenses. And so that's the type of thing I want people to understand. Like, I'm not pushing the idea of owning homes or multi units like just to sell it. It's like it makes a huge difference. So when my clients, if they are starting with a single family home now with the interest rate and the insurance, I can't say to them, "Oh, it's cheaper than your rent would be," because that was like a spill we could do at one point, right? But when I meet people who are wanting to do multifamilies, I can say that it could possibly be, right? Because you have another person helping you pay for your mortgage. And then the other thing people don't realize is like we closed in March. So I specifically try to close at the beginning of a month because you don't have to around March and April your first actual payment is due. Now don't get me wrong, the numbers are all kind of calculated into your closing costs. But the next time you have to pay out of pocket for your mortgage isn't until not March, not April, but May. So you have like a transitional period. So for those who are like, I can't afford to own, but they're paying 2,500 in rent, I'm like, what are you doing?
Which also gave me a lot of space to kind of rebuild my savings back
Mm-hmm.
up, because it was at this point I've paid off all of my debt. I'm out of this lease, and I don't have two. There's 2 months there where I essentially don't have to pay, the cost of living. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
getting this rental
Yeah.
income, and I was just able to save that very quickly and feel okay if something came up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very grateful for the opportunity and the way that it came about, because it could not have been any easier. I had to be very disciplined
Mm-hmm.
during it, right? Like, seeing money sit in my account building up, it's like, okay,
Ooh.
I can't touch that. It's for a purpose, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of things that I wasn't even privy to that help offset those
Mm-hmm.
costs. Like, I had no idea that, like, the insurance, the what is it, homeowners
Homeowners insurance.
insurance.
Mm-hmm.
When things are going wrong with my appliances, I was able to
Mm-hmm.
call them and pay
Oh, you talk about
75.
the home
Or,
warranty. The home
yeah, the
warranty.
warranty,
Yeah.
yes. So, like, the few things that have come up over the last couple of years, I've been able to rely on that
Yeah.
warranty, and pay $75 versus
Instead of
paying,
thousands or
thousands
hundreds.
of dollars, which has always been my main concern of, like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be house poor. I don't want things to fall apart
Yeah.
and I not be able to fix it. And so there is a level of discipline that you have to keep to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you're still living within your means. But it's
Right.
like, I'm able to do that, pay less than what I was paying in rent,
Mm-hmm.
live in a place that I really, really love, right? Like,
Yeah.
fully, pretty much a brand new home with all
Yeah,
updated
because it was fully
appliances,
renovated.
fully
It's
renovated.
beautiful.
Like, there's nothing that I dislike about my house. Like, and then I also had the opportunity to. I've always been the person who never fully, like, decorated my houses,
Yeah.
because I mean, I moved every year for years. I mean, moving to New Orleans and moving, from place to place to place.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here almost 7 years, and I think I've lived 5 different places. And so, the first time I really felt comfortable to make, my house feel like a home. And so, and then I'm saving money on top of that. Like, there's,
Yeah,
like,
it's a win-win-win.
now my thought is about, like, what I can
What's
do
next?
next. Yeah,
Yep.
like.
And so that's we're gonna segue into a little game since you said
Mhm,
that when it regarding what we're going to do next, right?
mhm.
So obviously we bought the multifamily. You got the one you wanted. Everything worked out, and really it was really about you putting in the work, believing, and your friend giving me your number instead of waiting for you to call me. So so once we got that done,
And
go
if I
ahead.
can interject,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's so easy to feel like a level of embarrassment about your
Mm.
situation. And I'm like, here I am, right? Like, I have 3 advanced level degrees, and,
Mhm.
like, my credit was bad, or, like, I don't have money saved like I
Yeah.
should. And, like, having to, you have to present your, people are
Yeah,
combing
you're
through your
presenting yourself. Yeah, I
finances
get
at that
that.
point. And so there's, like, a level of vulnerability through that, but you made me feel so comfortable of, like, this is no big
Yeah.
deal. Like, I've seen this, I've been here. It's fine. um I think that was the thing that really made me be able to trust the process and be like, she's gonna get me there. Like, we're
Yeah.
all right. She said, I thought it was bad. Maybe it's not that bad.
No.
We're gonna get there. Which, I felt comfortable being
Yeah.
vulnerable in that way, hand over my bank
Oh
statements
wow,
and
that
be
makes
like,
me
okay,
feel.
we
I
can
never
do
even
this.
thought about like the level of or even a semblance of like, oh, I'm a little embarrassed about this. I didn't even think about that. I'm actually glad you mentioned that because I think for me, I'm just so like we got this. Like I'm very much a
Yeah.
hand holder. Like we can do anything. So I didn't even think like, yeah, because you are very educated. You got all these, you know what I mean, all this paperwork to back. Like why aren't you? I'm a come as you are kind of girl.
Yeah.
Okay, come as you are. So I'm glad that I was able to make you feel comfortable because I knew that this was not only in your wheelhouse, but I told you this is only the beginning, and you know I believe that for you. And I wanted you on because to me your story is the exact example of what I'm telling people all the time when they say, "Oh, well, I can't do this. I'm not ready for that," or it costs too much, or da da da. I can't afford it. And I'm like, that's because that's what you've been hearing all this
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? But it's just not accurate. And it real estate is very lucrative for many millions of people. No, the most paid famous person or whatever, they're not real estate people, but they will invest in real estate because that is where financial freedom comes from. So I'm always trying to like, hey, let's get us on board. So the idea that you know we came together and you were like, oh, it's been a no, and my clients, the joke is I turn no's into souls, right, all the time. So I'm like, if somebody told you no, it means nothing to me because the fact that they said no, I know they don't know what they're talking about. They should have guided you. And so 2 years is crazy. My question is, did you ever tell the lender that you bought a house?
I did.
You're lying.
I did.
Okay, walk me through that call. We're gonna do a quick game, and then we gotta let the people go.
So it was around the time where I was working with Carlina, but that specific bank had
they doubled back.
Well, they had whatever program where it's like if you buy within a certain
okay.
neighborhood, I forget exactly what it was.
It's probably like the minority majority census tract or something.
Yes, and so I responded on the email chain where she told me no, and I was like, I already have what I need, but let me see if you can do better. And she was when I say the tune changed of like the willingness that she was to help me. All of a sudden I'm getting phone calls when I couldn't get her on the phone before. Yeah. All of a sudden, she was so eager to help me, but it just rubbed me the wrong way of like you wouldn't even have a 10-minute phone call with me to walk through what I needed to change.
But now that I know that you're capable.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, like you didn't want to hear any of that, nor were you willing to help me. It was like you saw a score or you saw whatever you didn't like, and it was like, sorry,
dismissed. Yeah. So that's funny. I did not know that you ever email, and it's like, I mean, you can, if you like. Let me see what you could offer because I'm already getting my house. So that's crazy. But yeah, a lot of, I'm not gonna say everyone. I know a ton of great lenders. Obviously the lender I use is amazing, and I know a ton of great realtors. But sometimes you meet people that are money motivated, and so even though I know your file isn't a no, if it's not an easy automatic yes, it's like they're not even willing to try. And your house was not cheap. So she could have made money off of your, like, you could have stuck with it. But, a lot of people are not willing to do the work. They want the easy checks. They want the quick checks. And I didn't get into real estate for the money. I'm blessed to make money. Obviously, we all need money to sustain. But for me, I wanted generational wealth. I wanted to help people who were told no and turn it into souls. Yes, I have luxury clients, and it's fun to walk through whatever. But my thing is I want to equip everyone to, whether it's luxury, whether it's multiple, to be able to do it. And I find if I am like that, like all of my clients send me clients. I have never had to promote that I do real estate. Even when I'm at, so you guys invite me to like kickbacks and parties, and y'all are like, this is my realtor. Hey, make way, this is my realtor. She's the one that got me the house. I'm like, stop it. Let me get my card. No. So no, I think when you do it for the right reasons, the right people find you. And I think because you kept believing and you did the work, you got your multifamily, and we're about to do bigger things. So I'm excited. So let's play a little game. Hold on, let me get my production to hand me my things because since we are on to the next, because we've accomplished the first goal, so I want mine as well. Oh, sorry. So I want to play a little game, right? I'm hitting your mic and everything. Because we're talking about on to the next, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna see if I can also guess what you are going to do. Okay. Okay. So your next buy is going to be single family, multifamily, or commercial? Actually, that made that too hard for me because you got options. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm just gonna guess. Okay, ready? My handwriting. I was supposed to be a doctor. We're gonna flip it to the camera on three. 1, 2, 3. Oh yay!
I was gonna put both because
I
I'm like
know.
it kind of falls into both
I was
categories.
like, well, I feel like she would buy multi as well. Like if the numbers were attractive and it presented itself. Right?
I don't see myself buying a single family home until I have a reason to. I'm single, so it's like I don't need that much space currently.
I'm telling you to keep buying multis until you're like, oh, I'm settling down. Oh, the kids, if you want kids, the dogs, whatever. But until then, like, I'm telling you, buy the multi. So I feel like if you found the right multi, it would be a multi. But like, I feel like you're also open to commercial. I think you're gonna do big things in real estate. I'm excited to be a part of the journey.
And what I love is you'll entertain however I'm feeling that day. I be taking time out of your day to look at things completely unfeasible at the moment, and you'll come back with a chart and be like, "Yeah, so all you need is $300,000 down. I could call the realtor if you." I'm like, "Girl, I got $45."
But you're acting like now. I'm about to tell people your business, but you're acting like you can't get a certain amount. It may not be tomorrow, but it's in your wheelhouse.
It's plausible, but you're always willing to entertain that. Yeah. A lot of my real estate dreams are for the future. They're a little further out, but you'll always entertain it as if I'm ready to tomorrow. Get it. Yeah,
because you know why I do that? Because sometimes when you find out what the requirements are, you're like, oh,
it's not that bad.
Exactly. Because the last conversation we had about the property that you liked. Okay, the down payment was high because she's trying to bigger and better is what's on the. However, you were like, well, you know what? If I do,
it made me start to think like, okay, carry the one. I can.
You only gotta carry the one. Yeah, everybody knows that.
I can get it together within this amount of time, and at least I know what I need to do to get there. Mm-hmm. Versus just hoping when something comes up that I'm prepared. I can prepare myself exactly. In advance.
And I also understand it because it's all about the groundwork. You know what I mean? Like when you send me something, I'm like, well, let me just tell you what it is, and then that way you know what to do, and you're the type to like you'll quietly do it, and then the next time you call me, you're like, can we go see da da da? I'm like, well, you need to. You're like, got that?
Yeah,
I love that. So so that's good. Okay, let me see if I can come up with another question. Okay, brick or hardy plank? Exterior.
What I got?
Wood. What you got? What you like? Okay, wait, let me. So, what you like on your exterior? Like, if you were building your dream home, would you pick brick, hardy plank, which is wood, or let's say stucco? I think I might get this one wrong. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
You have to remember, I'm from Nebraska, and so I like things that remind me of home. I need something. Although there's not tornadoes here,
right.
Houses are brick there. Yeah, houses are brick there, so they're not as easily picked up. So
I mean, basically, I know my client. That's what
that you do. Well,
I really do appreciate you coming and telling your story for sure, and then being also so transparent. Like you're talking about income, your credit score, where it was, where you are, and how you're saving money because you own a multi. And I do want people to realize that like you have a great tenant, because I think some people are afraid of landlord or multifamilies because the tenants, but it's all about vetting and just doing the work to find the right tenant. And if they're not right, keep pushing until you find the right one. So thank you for sharing every aspect. I'm definitely probably gonna have you back, especially when we get the next
Move
thing.
On to the next thing. Yes, thank you for having me.
So now I know you don't do anything specifically in real estate, but if there's anything you want to share with the audience, if you have a project coming up you want them to support, by all means, you have the floor.
I do trademarks and copyrights outside of
your corporate,
kind of my corporate work, so I can help with that. But otherwise, I'm kind of on the corporate side, and doesn't benefit most.
So if they want to do trademarks, how can they get in touch with you?
Makala Graves, first last name, the number one at Gmail is my easiest contact.
Okay, and I'll be sure to put it at the end of the episode.
Yes, because my name is supposed to
Yeah,
funny,
yeah. But I got you. But thank you again for coming. Congratulations on your purchase. We're years into it now,
Yes.
right? But congratulations in advance on your new one. I'm excited about the next one.
Yes.
And
Thank
if
you.
you all want to see more testimonies, more stories, you need to write in. You can DM us on our Instagram page at It's Giving Realty Podcast. Be sure to follow. Okay, you can also subscribe on our YouTube channel, It's Giving Realty Podcast. Or you can email us at stylist@realestatewithstyle.org. Let us know what you want to see, and we will try our best to give you all we got. Okay, give you all the realty in realty. Okay, cheers. Until next time.